Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 greatest Schoenberg recordings. Now, for this one, we need to have a selection from various periods in his compositional career. You can't just do the fun, easy stuff. Well, none of it's fun, but the easy stuff. You have to spread it out and have a good time doing it. Because, going through the discography, there are really an extraordinary number of fine Schoenberg recordings, and he really wrote an extraordinary number of musical masterpieces at all periods of his life. He was a remarkable composer, and difficult? Oh, God, yeah. I mean, no one's saying this stuff is easy, but it's marvelous once you get into it. And if it remains something for special occasions or particularly self-lacerating moments, then that's fine. It's there when we need it and when we want to hear it. And that's how I treat it, frankly, because whenever I do listen to it, it's always exceptionally rewarding because I've made up my mind in advance that I'm going to give it the time and attention that it deserves and that it requires. And either you're up for it or you're not. If you're not, it's okay. There's lots of other music to listen to. So you don't have to participate in this one unless you really feel very, very strongly about the works in question. And you don't have to do 5. But like I said, it would be really, really good if you could cover his compositional career, because he had such a range of styles, all of them rather truculent and difficult, but, a range. And so here they are. Are you ready? First, Gurrelieder. I mean, you got to do Gurrelieder, right? And it's the Seiji Ozawa recording on Decca that has James McCracken and Jesse Norman and Tatiana Troyanos. I mean, the best singers, phenomenal singers, gorgeous orchestral playing. It's a live recording, but it was done on the basis of some performances at Tanglewood, I believe. I was at one of them, so I think that's where I was. I think my cough is on that recording. That's the one that has the Hurwitz cough. I'm not exactly sure where the Hurwitz cough is, but I think it's there. Anyway, the point is that it's a fantastic live event. And it was recorded in luminous analog sonics. They followed up this Gurrelieder with Ozawa's Mahler 8th, which wasn't nearly as successful or as well recorded because it was early digital and they weren't quite sure what they were doing. But this Gurrelieder sounds marvelous, just marvelous. And it's such a beautiful work when it's played in this wonderfully lean and exciting fashion. It can die. It can just wallow, and it often does, but not here. It's really splendid. So go for that one. Next, Pierrot Lunaire. Oh, God, I love Pierrot Lunaire. It is so much fun. It is so crazy and wonderfully atonally appropriate. The music and the text just go hand in hand like they were made for each other. And the Référence recording continues to be Jan DeGaetani with Gilbert Kalish on the piano and Arthur Weisberg and the contemporary chamber players, or whatever they were called, on Nonesuch. This recording's been around for decades, of course. DeGaetani is such a fabulous artist. It's so good to be able to mention her because she specialized in contemporary music and did it in a way that was so communicative and so natural. This Pierrot Lunaire, it just flows. And it's spooky and weird and expressionistic. It punches all the right buttons. And, oh, gosh, it's just terrific. And if you don't know Pierrot Lunaire, you've got to sit down with the words and listen to it, because it is one of the great experiences in 20th century music. And it was composed really at the very beginning of the 20th century, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Next, the Violin Concerto, one of Schoenberg's toughest and least popular pieces. The recording with Rolf Schulte and Robert Kraft with the Philharmonia Orchestra on Naxos. It's coupled with The Survivor from Warsaw, which is amazing, and the Ode to Napoleon Bonaparte. So it's not you get other really cool stuff But this performance of the Violin Concerto sold me on it. And here, this is I think it's unquestionably a great performance. It's one of the greatest Schoenberg recordings, but also, I don't know why, but, every time I heard the piece, I just went, ugh, gosh, it's a nasty thing. But when I heard this performance, it had point and purpose and lyricism, and I could follow it, and I don't know how they did it, but they did it, and that makes it one of the great Schoenberg recordings of all time. I mean, really. Schulte is beyond marvelous and expressive and intelligent, and Kraft is a better Schoenberg conductor than Pierre Boulez. I'm not kidding. He and Michael Gielen and all of those people, he immersed himself in the music and simply played it with extraordinary devotion and accuracy, and it just works. It really, really works. Then, of course, we do have to do a Michael Gielen. I think that's only fair. And also, the Piano Concerto, which is just the opposite of the Violin Concerto. It's one of his more popular works, his most popular concerto. It's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. It has a vague program. Things were going well. Difficult stuff occurred. It all turned out well in the end. That's the program. And it's really an exceptionally lovely work, and one that's worth getting to know, like I said. And Alfred Brendel recorded it twice. I mean, whoa, baby. I mean, how do you get to do that twice? Maybe 3 times. And I did it a lot. The one with Kubelik is the one I have in mind. I can't remember if there's an earlier Nonesuch one. I mean, Vox one, probably. Who knows? Because Gielen was always around then, too. He was working with Brendel at the time. So, but their newer recording on Philips, which is now Decca, it's coupled with the 2 chamber symphonies. It's just a fabulous performance of the Piano Concerto. It was a work that Brendel took to his heart. And again, it's all a question of having commitment and intention and purpose behind what you're doing. And if you believe it, we'll believe it. And they believe it. And so do we. It's just marvelous. And last but not least, Moses und Aron, the opera, Schoenberg's operatic masterpiece, probably, although some may claim it's Erwartung, which I also love. But Moses and Aron is just fabulous. And I remember seeing it when the New York City Opera did the production of it. And everybody was like, oh, God, they're doing Moses and Aron. And I went, and it was sold out. The house was packed, and everybody loved it. It was fantastic. When you consider it's an opera kind of like Tristan and Isolde, where nothing happens. They stand around and they talk. And then there's the golden calf business, which is just, an orgy scene, which is just amazing. And it's incomplete. It's only in 2 acts. Thank God he never finished the 3rd act. Zoltán Kovács actually completed the 3rd act. Schoenberg didn't write any music for it, I don't believe. It was just left as a libretto, where Moses and Aron have a chat about, their relationship with God, and then Aron drops dead. And that would have been a thriller. So the fun thing is that it ends at the climax. The huge golden calf scene and the mute Moses saying, oh word that I lack, oh Wort das ich felt. And then the violins go, and it's over. It's fantastic. So the recording in question is Schulte with Franz Mazura and Philip Langridge, and the Chicago Symphony and some other people screaming around. It's really, really fantastic. And again, you've got Boulez, who did it twice, and Michael Gielen, and, all these other people got to record it more than once, and they were Moses and Aron specialists, and Schulte comes in. This is really kind of a wonderful moment, actually, because, I'm not always a fan of Schulte, and he had a reputation for being kind of brutal. One of those sort of, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, screaming skull was his nickname, conductors who was not intellectual and not, and he comes in and plays the daylights out of this piece. Really, really makes a stunning recording for all the reasons that we sometimes dislike his other opera performances or his other performances. He was actually a fabulous opera conductor. He really was. I mean, most of his Wagner's terrific. We know that. And a lot of his Verdi's fabulous. He could do all of that stuff really, really well because of his very directness, his dramatic sense, his take no prisoners approach. It works really well in this opera. Believe it or not, it really does. It's a glorious recording, and certainly one of the 5 greatest Schoenberg recordings. So now it's time for you to give your list, if you have one, if you dare. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.